When I reviewed the Toyota Avalon a few months ago, I sort of lamented that big sedans were kind of a lost art, and that for many people, they might make more sense than they realize, at least when compared to SUVs. Recently, I tested the Lexus ES350 F Sport, and I generally liked what it offered. But I also wondered if buying the new and lovably ridiculous Toyota Avalon TRD might give you nearly as much of sort of the experience and content at a cheaper price. Well, that's exactly what we're here to find out. Cut. Was that too Redline Reviews? Because I feel like it was a little bit kind of like Redline Reviews. No. Are you sure? Yep. Do you even know what car we're reviewing? A white one? It's gray. No, it isn't. God, you're a freaking... What's going on, everyone? Jax here, and today I'm giving you a hot take on the 2021 Toyota Avalon TRD. Let me get my favorite aspect of the Toyota Avalon TRD out of the way first. I absolutely love the way this car looks. It's utterly ridiculous, and I adore that. I love the black trim. I love the black wheels. I love the subtlety of those black accents mixed with the gray paint color. Also, and I'm being 100% serious here, the Toyota Avalon is the best looking vehicle that Toyota makes. Nope, it's absolutely true. Think about it. See what I mean? Think harder. There you go. I think the Avalon in general looks great, and I think this TRD model adds just enough visual flair without going completely overboard. But there's a catch. The Avalon TRD generally doesn't back up its exterior appearance, not in any meaningful way. In fact, it sort of ends up being the reverse of my previous hypothesis. Instead of being like a cooler Toyota Avalon or a discount Lexus ES350 F Sport model, it sort of justifies why you should buy either of those other two cars instead of this car. Let me explain. See, when I reviewed the Avalon a few months ago, I was generally pleased with the way it handled its considerable size. I mean, it was certainly on the soft side, but I don't think that was out of character with the car's mission statement. There I go with mission statement again. Certainly a tightened up and more buttoned down focused version of that car would add a little bit of excitement, right? Well, not really. The TRD trim's suspension tuning is a high point. It does an excellent job of firming things up without really sacrificing much in the way of ride quality, if any. Really, if I'm being honest, it rides fantastic. But almost every other aspect of the car just reminds you that you're driving a Toyota Avalon. The steering has an okay weight to it in sport mode. It's a little too light in normal mode. And it's accurate enough, but there's zero feel, and in my opinion, it's too slow, especially off center. If you want to make the big car feel more sporty, then sort of quicken it up a bit. It doesn't complement the upgraded suspension in a way that makes the car feel any more lively or sporty. The brakes brakes are fine, which means they feel pretty much like Toyota Avalon brakes. A bit soft, but perfectly effective. And there's a bit too much body roll as well, especially when I took it down the handling road. The ride was pretty smooth, pretty much unperturbed by any of the road imperfections, but it rolled a little bit, more so than you would think a car with a dedicated sort of sport trim would. It certainly doesn't exactly convince you that you're driving something special, or at least upgraded from the regular model. And while you do get a little spicier exhaust, it's generally too quiet actually, and it doesn't really do much to differentiate itself because it's pumping out the same tune. Because the engine is unchanged, it's still a 300 horsepower V6. And this is a little bit of a problem when the Lexus ES350 F Sport exists. My Lexus tester was just under 54 grand, but you can actually get a lot of the F Sport goodness for under $50,000, especially if you skip the admittedly excellent Mark Levinson audio system. You can still get the F Sport adaptive suspension, the superb F Sport seats, and my personal favorite, the F Sport steering wheel. But seriously, Lexus, why does it cost more money to get the F Sport steering wheel? It should just be included there. I've said my piece. Thank you. On top of all that, you get a much nicer interior and the added benefit of the luxury badging to tell all your friends that you are now completely insufferable. And thanks to some of those tweaks, it feels better and handles better, and the suspension is actually adjustable, so there's that too. I know Toyota and Lexus would like you to think their products aren't competing in the same pond, but in terms of performance and value, it's difficult to distinguish the Avalon TRD from its siblings, whether you get its regular Avalon younger sibling or its more performance-oriented, mature Lexus sibling. Not really sure how to delineate between those. Hopefully that made some kind of sense. So should you buy a Toyota Avalon TRD? Sadly, I'm gonna have to say no, unless you irrationally love the way the car looks even more than I do. It doesn't elevate itself enough in regards to performance over the regular Avalon to warrant a purchase, in my opinion. And it doesn't necessarily get close enough to what the Lexus ES350 F Sport is offering to feel like a bargain. This Avalon costs just shy of $44,000, but you could probably spec out the ES350 F Sport if you kept the options performance-oriented for just under 50 grand. And, financed out, that's not a huge difference per month. It also has some noticeable defects when compared to its siblings because it's trying to be a little bit too much of all things to all people. The main defects being that the seats in this are not particularly supportive and don't feel particularly good, and the 8-speed transmission can be a little hunty, especially at low speeds, as if it's unsure of how much exactly are you really taking this performance trim seriously. Like really did you buy it for performance, or did you just buy it because it looks dope? The Lexus ES F Sport, for comparison, has those excellent F Sport seats, and the transmission exhibits none of the behavior that it exhibited in this TRD tester. It just doesn't quite look as good as the Avalon TRD. I'm not knocking the Lexus spindle grille anymore. It's kind of grown on me, but I think this TRD is a really stupidly good-looking car. I mean, come on. It's just fun. It's just silly. I love it. So the moral of this story is that while the Avalon TRD might look the business and have some seriously increased curb appeal, those enhancements are really only skin deep, other than the generally excellent suspension, I have to admit. And if Toyota really wanted to distinguish it from its brethren, they should have gone all in. Open up that smooth V6, maybe to the tune of about 330 horsepower. That should do it. Quicken the steering, refine the transmission, and maybe even firm up the suspension a little bit more. I'd be okay with that. I think you would too. Oh, and add a noisier dual mode exhaust and maybe some seats that aren't made for, more rotund individuals. At least That's my hot take. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this sort of format of video. It's something I want to do more of in 2021. I've had the good fortune these past couple of months of getting more press cars, which means more content for you. And I haven't quit the day job, so I've got quite the busy life, which is fantastic, definitely not a complaint. But some of these models are just sort of different trims or enhancements of models I've already tested. So I figured if I give you sort of a hot take in a short form video, that maybe it'll give you kind of the TLDR, more digestible format, and be of more value to you in a car buying or decision-making process. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. And as always, ride safe, drive safe, and I will catch you in the next review or hot take in 2021. Take care. Peace. Why is everyone leaving the park right next to me at the same time? Shut up, shut up, shut up. Trying to work here. There are like birds everywhere. What is going on? Got people driving behind me, got someone literally came to the park to sit in their car and blast music. I want to scissor kick all of these people in the face.